Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, first of all, Attorney JJ, for having us, for having me this afternoon. It's an honor to speak to, I think we're more than 100 people right now in the virtual room. And, I think with what's going on right now with the pandemic, this is one of the good things. If we look at the bright side of this experience, one of the good things about COVID-19 is learning became more accessible. Engaging with fellow industry practitioners has been, in very easy because it's all in one click. And there are a lot of shared knowledge and experiences that are going around on the digital space that in one way or another we get to apply to whatever we do in marketing. So again, thank you, Attorney JJ and the CNE Law Office. It's an honor to be here in front of everyone for this afternoon. Well, I think the presentation of Adel says a lot of things in terms of, from a client perspective, what role can actually influencers, or ngayon it's more politically correct to call them creators now than influencers, no? Because of, well, you know how the ecosystem and the landscape has changed. And back in the days, I always say 10 years ago, whenever I put influencers in my marketing mix, it's always at the tail end of the marketing budget. If you just need to tweet someone about it, if you just need a blog written about your product, about your campaign, then set aside probably like a few thousands in your marketing budget to have that in your mix. But it's definitely a low priority and not as important as perhaps TV or radio or print, which are more traditional. But, allow me in the next 10, 15 minutes to talk about the real power of influence, right? Influence marketing, even in the last 2 years, has always been part of, the key social media trends that are really setting the stage right now when it comes to this discipline. And agree or disagree, these are the five things that I observed, which are really, kind of like defining how social media is behaving or evolving the past few years. Again, agree or disagree, right now, there's no such thing as an own space. Because right now, even if you have a Facebook fan page of 2 million, 5 million, in order for you to really reach a wide audience, you have to pay for play. So unfortunately, right now, everything has a peso value. Kaya the word boosting has been, what do you call this, like a popular buzzword in digital because, even if you have the best artist or curator for your content, organic is below 1%. And lucky if you go more than 1%, but if you really want a lot of people to see it, to engage with it, you have to put money behind it, right? So that's one trend. Another is dark social. In our world, we refer to dark social as your Viber, your WhatsApp, to the much younger audience, your Telegrams, to those in Thailand, their lines, right? People are saying that currently 84% of content sharing happen on dark social. So we forward content on our Vibers and our WhatsApp more than on our Facebook page on our Twitter account. So it's now the age of dark social. Video is everywhere. So remember back in the days when Facebook became popular, just post a photo of a cute cat and it will get all the likes and engagements you want. Like it can be shared by thousands or get 1,000 likes or more. But now the minimum requirement is a video. If you really want something that is engaging, something that people will really consume or interact with, right? And right now, whether we like it or not, I think social media has already hit the social peak or the peak of social media. Gone were the days when people say, if you want to talk to a wider audience, you use social media because right now, even our parents and grandparents are online. My mom alone, before this COVID happened, whenever she travels, and I'm so amazed because she would really post every every milestone of a travel that she's into. Like, and she even knows how to check in. Remember those the one that you see on Facebook, traveling to Hong Kong from Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Well, these days you don't see it anymore because no one is traveling. But everyone is on social. In fact, the 50 and above, the number of Facebook users, the number of social media users of the 50 and above are rising exponentially. So that's something that we're also looking into. And finally, because we are talking about influencers in this session, everyone's now becoming an influencer, especially during the COVID-19 season. No? Like since March, a lot of YouTube channels were created. A lot of people have all of a sudden became content creators on TikTok, right? Um, they're everywhere. I think my top three influencers that were not popular before COVID-19 that I think are really nailing it these days would be McCoy Dubs. I'm sure you see him around. I think was it recently when he or yesterday when he guested on Showtime. And so he's becoming popular right now, even guesting on different channels. Of course, Mr. Austria, who is Oliver Austria. Is it Austria? But yeah, Oliver, who is an architect, who is also amassing a lot of subscribers on his YouTube channel, doing reviews of different houses, no? Being an architect himself. And what else? You see a lot of my nephew and my niece have been, addicted watching a lot of new new YouTube channels doing unboxings for kids. No? So it's really, it's a world of influencers and creators right now. That's why I think the four of us in this room today are, very excited and very proud that, we really have put together our time and effort to establish the Creator and Influencer Council of the Philippines. We'll talk about more of that later on. So I think let's like just to further discuss working with creators and influencers. I think right now, incontestably, the Philippines is still number one when it comes to social media usage. So that's why we're saying we used to be the texting capital of the world, but now we're now the social media capital of the world, right? But the social media continues to become the number one social or the number one activity online by Filipinos. Motivations have changed, and if you look at data, no, people are no longer sharing random content about themselves, it being a motivation why they are online. So before, like, we share everything. We share our best travels, the food that we eat, the clothes that we buy, the everything that we can post. No, but right now it has dipped significantly. Right, people are no longer sharing what they're doing on a daily basis, which turns out to be because right now, within the social media sphere, the primary activity that is happening right now is social shopping, right? If you look at the data from Global Web Index in front of you, and this was still 2 years ago, I think right now, if it's not number one, it's number two. The biggest motivation right now to go online or to go on social media is to do social shopping. And that's why Facebook Marketplace became very popular, especially now because people are selling anything under the sun to their neighbors, to pretty much everybody while stuck at home during this pandemic. Dati back in the days, pag sinabing sikat ka, at least for the younger segment, ang measurement or ang sukatan ng kasikatan if you land into these magazines, di ba? Back in 2008, pag nasa 17 ka, nasa preview, etc. But now, so Summit Media is no longer even printing magazines. And most of their channels right now are digital, right? But, if you look at, when we even asked before, what is the most, the primary source of brand discovery by people, it's actually the ones that you see in red or maybe pink in your screens. Endorsements by celebrities or well-known individuals, vlogs, posts or reviews by expert bloggers, right? In short, people, right? Further down, if you look at the younger audience, the more influential the influencers and the more influential the influencers and personalities, you see a lot of other people who are being watched or being looked into by this audience. So from TV presenters to sports stars to comedians, bloggers, journalists, etc. So talagang, people, following people became the kind of like norm. And if you look at the industry today, if you look at creators and influencers, they have already become the new tastemakers, right? And what we are trying to espouse in the industry is to work better together. Brands will need to make a change, okay? Gone were the days when, as Adel was sharing earlier, gone were the days when you get an influencer and sabihin mo lang sa kanya, post mo to sa Instagram or post mo to sa Facebook, right? And then you do the transaction. Right now, people are demanding for a better collaboration between brands and influencers. In fact, they don't even call it out if Alex Gonzaga, for example, posts a vlog about a collaboration, content collaboration with one of the products that she endorses. People have accepted that kind of dynamics, no? Na talagang gano'n na ngayon na may mga tao na binabayaran to talk about their product or to talk about a campaign. And that's okay now, diba? However, I think, well, to brands who have not been doing this shift, a lot of brands are actually doing this already. And I hope if we will look into some of the examples I will be sharing, we can again all agree that content creation is already shifting. Brands are no longer the lead actor, right? And today, they must take on new roles. Brand as agents or brand as directors. What do I mean by that? A lot of successful influencer engagements right now involve brands as agents. They spot the talents. So meaning, it's not the usual, I get a Star Magic talent or I get, I don't know, like an Alex Gonzaga or whoever. But, looking at your own company and looking at, not so popular or not popular people around you and spotting them if they can potentially be a brand endorser. Take a look at this one, for example. Kita nyo na ba to before? Not sure if you guys have seen this, but he's the popular SM luggage boy. This hashtag became viral when he became popular, right? I think he was a luggage boy in SM Lipa. And one day there was this customer in the department store who spotted this guy, took a video of him, posted it on Facebook, and it went viral, right? This was the actual video that went viral. Imagine it was shared almost 8,000 times, garnered more than 2,000 comments, and was viewed exponentially, almost 2 million. I think more than 2 million across different platforms. So look at this video. And so SM, because they spotted him, turned him into a celebrity. So gumawa siya ng video in the helipad of SM and appeared on a lot of TV screens. I'm not sure if they used this for a TVC, but it became a viral sensation online, digitally. So that's SM Luggage Boy. Siyempre, I'm not just 100% sure if he was the first one discovered or the SM elevator girl. Diba ako naaalala nyo yung para siyang flight attendant na pag-open mo na elevator, she would pretend as if she's a flight attendant, diba? Entertaining the passengers who will enter her elevator. So this is SM Luggage Boy, the brand spotting talents. I'm not sure if you came across with this one, but one of my favorite case studies, the McDonald's pranksters in the US. So these two guys are Filipino-Americans who live in Los Angeles. So what happened was, ganda na message. I think this won an award, and later on I'll show you how they even got attention because of what they've done. In their neighborhood, I can't remember if it's in Santa Clarita or somewhere in Riverside. In their neighborhood, they always frequent going to McDonald's, just like any American, right? It's the best, it's the go-to fast food chain. So, and pag kumakain sila, napapansin nila, bakit bakit lahat ng artista o lahat ng mga talents sa mga posters around McDonald's are Caucasians? Eh, itong dalawang to are photographers. So what they did was, sabi nga nila, what if mag-social experiment tayo? Kasi hindi naman yan parang dito sa Pilipinas na the waiters are everywhere. In the US, most of them are behind the counter, di ba? So no one can really see you if you're hanging out in the restaurant. Ginawa nila, pinalitan nila lahat ng posters ng mga picture nila na kumakain ng McDonald's. So they just wanted to find out kung malalaman, number two, ano magiging reaction ng mga kung may makakapansin ba. And true enough, wala. So for good 1 week, all their posters were up and no one even cared. And then, what they're trying to prove is whatever the color of your skin is, you can actually land in a streamer or a poster in a popular American brand, McDonald's. So, ayan yung mga ibang pictures nila. So, it was just a month, I think a week or 2 weeks after nung na-realize na lang nila, oo nga, biglang gano'n, diba? And they even guested in the show of Ellen DeGeneres, where they got, really massive attention from their audience. And they even gave Ellen an artwork of her face. So that's McDonald's pranksters, okay? So again, brand as agent, potential brand stories are emanating from all over the social space. As fear, all you need to do is just to listen and find opportunities to let them be part of the official story. So this answers the most common question. If I want to top influencers, kailangan ba magbayad ako sa sikat? It's not the formula all the time. Sometimes nasa paligid nyo lang, nasa office nyo lang, baka kayo would be the best influencer for your own brand. Okay? Next, brand as director. Ngayon, right now, what works better is if the brand gives influencers or creators the stage to capture the magic. No? So, para bahala kayo. Basta ito mandatories ko, you do your thing your way. And kaya that's why yung output mas nagiging authentic and relevant to the public. So, of course, without, talking more about this, Chris Aquino, even until now, would still be a best example of you let her do her own way, do it in her own kitchen, just give the product, tell her what about most of the time naman, Chris uses products that she really wants. And whether we like it or not, talaga pong gumagana pag si Chris Aquino. Talagang proven na yan by statistics na may power of Chris Aquino pa rin pag siya ang nag-endorse. So that's one example. And even when Sari Roti, which is an emerging brand for bread, engaged her for their Kitchen Love campaign, talagang a lot of netizens expressed their interest in trying the bread because Chris Aquino was very convincing on her video. So all Sari Roti did was, Chris, do whatever you want, do it in your kitchen, we'll give you the product, we'll give you, will allow you to do how best do you want to talk about Sari Roti. And it worked. Alex Gonzaga is also popular for doing a lot of gigs. If you look at her vlog endorsements, talagang even if sumisigaw yung brand, people still watch it. People still laugh about it because she has her own way of really making fun of her endorsements and most of the time with Mami Pindi in the background. So again, if you don't watch some of her videos, maybe some of you like her, some of you don't like her, she's still a case study when it comes to this aspect. No? Maine Mendoza, ito very impressive how MAC tapped Maine Mendoza to promote a lipstick brand or a shade of their certain shade of lipstick na hindi talaga mabili-bili sa MAC. So because of one post and because of driving people or driving traffic to the mall to buy these products, the least popular brand became the most popular and naubos yung stock in an hour or even more. So talagang, again, effective use of influencers. Okay? It only took a minute for Maine Mendoza's MAC lipstick to run out online. Sorry, hindi pala in-store. This is online. So because of her endorsement, easily na-wipe out online yung MAC lipstick. Again, brand as director, letting the influencer take the center stage. The role of the brand should still come through. And brand channel published versus influencer channel published How do you draw the line or balance it? So again, brand as agent, brand as director. I'm almost done, Attorney JJ. I think I'm enjoying too much. Well,
It's okay.
brands, I think down to the summary of what I wanted to impart to who are people who are watching right now. Brands need to leave some of their top-down structures behind. I think right now the one who's winning it in this space are those that are not really governed by a lot of playbooks, structures, and parameters. Right? And whether they like it or not, if they really want to be able to infiltrate the world of creators and influencers, they have to embrace the network that is already co-creating with them, right? And even in Densu, if I may cross ano lang about it, even the science of how we select is really, trying to understand like reach, engagement, and share of voice. That balance that would really take you to the right mix for your influencers. I know you guys are familiar with this, how we categorize influencers, no? Micro, macro, celebrities. Others would define micro as the 10,000 and below. Others would say it's the 50,000 and below. Macro are those either 10,000 and above or 100,000 and above, depending on, because different, have different definitions of it. Celebrities, yung mga talagang in the millions. But in Densu, in our agency, medyo creative kami in terms of identifying the right influencers. No? Lalo na pag very malalim yung requirement ng kliyente to really think through the right mix that we need for the campaign. So is it Bs? Yung mga low reach or high affinity? So meaning probably nasa below 10,000 yung followers, pero pag naman talaga nag-post, everyone would engage with the post, di ba? Is it the whales? Yun yung mga high reach pero low affinity. So mostly yan mga celebrities na pag nag-post, makikita ng millions of people but not really a lot of people would engage. Or stars. Siyempre yun yung pinaka-ideal. And most of the time, pinakamahal. Kasi mataas yung reach, tapos pag talagang nag-post, the millions of followers that this person has would really engage. Siyempre, no one wants to engage the rocks, the low reach and low affinity. That's top one of your marketing spend. I won't play this example, but you take a look on YouTube, this case study. It's called Nothing Beats a Londoner. So it's by Nike. But for me, it's a best example of the last, I'll move it, which is the last point, which is brand as co-star. Right? Finding the right influencer mix. Don't just focus on content. Platform selection through engagement plan is just as important. And try to look at hyper-local or niche influencers that can really make a huge difference. In CICP, we take pride in really activating influencers and creators who are popular in Vismin. Like if I tell you right now the following names, unless of course you live in the Visayas or Mindanao, normally kasi pag kinamin mo influencers, on top of mind mo would be the ones in Metro Manila. Like if I ask you guys to name top 5 creators, influencers, Will Dasovich, Erwan Yusuf, like Mikey Bustos, I mean, those would top your list. But there are a lot of up and coming, not just up and coming, but who are nailing it in Visayas and Mindanao, like Alem Garcia, David Wildex, sino ba yung, sila Davao Conyo, di ba? So I'm sure the 3 names that I mentioned, only a few know, but these are some of the ones that are also making names in the influencer stage. So thank you. I hope in that I think I went beyond 15 minutes, but you kind of like learned how you need to kind of optimize the way you work or change your lens, the way you work with influencers, because it has evolved already. And if you get to learn how they create content, how they behave, then there's much more opportunities in terms of collaborating for your brands. No? So there. Thank you, Attorney JJ.
All right.